My name is Burrowes. Today I'm going to be talking to you about verbal and visual presentations. Just want to ask before I start, who here at some point, live, has ever given a presentation? Okay, all right, so a couple people. All right, basically, you want to use supporting material, and our textbook defines supporting material as anything that backs up the claim in a presentation. If you really want to, your supporting material to be used effectively, there are three things you need to try to incorporate. The first is you want to clarify what's being said. Maybe you know what you're saying, but if your audience doesn't really know what's going on and doesn't understand, then it's really not an effective message. You want to try to provoke interest to your audience. If your audience really isn't interested, they're not really going to know or care what you're saying. I know a lot of times in class it's like that. If you have a professor that's just up there talking about who knows what, and it's not interesting, then you're not going to pay attention. You're not going to get anything from it. And proof. You want to prove what you're saying. You want your audience to believe you. And if you have evidence to back that up, they're more likely going to take in what you're saying. Okay. And here are the types of different verbal support. There's examples, definitions, stories, statistics, comparisons, quotations. A lot of times if you tell a story, if you're talking about something, maybe about public speaking, and you tell a story about the time when you're giving a speech and something happened, your audience is going to listen, they're going to pay attention. Statistics, you throw out some numbers, percentages or things like that, your audience is going to be able to visualize that. And you want to be sure, it goes back to proof here. You want your audience to believe what you're saying. So if you can say you got your information from a website or a magazine or a book or an encyclopedia, it's going to be a lot more believable than just throwing out things like might be true. And you want to establish credibility. And if you're going to cite things, make sure or try to use sources that are going to be familiar with people. Don't use maybe a random website. You type in Google and a website comes up, you've never heard of it. If you have a choice between that and say like newspaper, USA Today, I'd go ahead and try to use the one that more people are going to know about. Which takes me to the second kind of aids, visual aids. This chart here is from the U.S. Department of Labor. It shows that if you're showing visually and orally, people are going to take in that information a lot more than if you're just telling people. I think it's the more ways that you take something in, the more likely you're going to be able to remember it. Some different types: objects, models, photographs, videos, bars, and column charts, as shown. And uses of visual aids, how things look. If you're trying to tell people about a house or a room, and you're saying, well, yeah, this room is next to this room, and that's pretty big. If you use a picture and lay it out like a floor plan, people are going to be able to see it. Like, oh, okay, now I see what you're saying. How things work, give a video or anything like that. How things relate to one another. You can see pictures of a couple things together, and you can emphasize important points. I remember I saw a speech once, and it was about sexual harassment in the workplace, and it showed a pie graph, and I didn't realize that like 11 or 12% of the cases were from males. Like that was kind of, I didn't know males got harassed. I don't know, that jumped out to me. And this is from a psychologist at University of Minnesota. He said 35% of information is retained through visual aids. That kind of relates back to that graph that I showed you. And in conclusion, you have the 3 types of supporting material: clarity, interest, proof, and then there's the 2 types of supporting material: verbal and visual. So thank you.